What's up, guys, and welcome to this episode of Formula Supra. We're kicking things off with a visit to AEM Intakes, where Dom and I drop off the Judd V10 to their engineering department. Now, I am beyond stoked that AEM decided to come on board and support this project with a full carbon fiber intake. So we dropped the engine off to have it 3D scanned by their engineering department. We then came back about a week later where they had everything laid out, the design made, and we checked it all over, make sure everything's good. And next up is going to be a rapid prototype where they're going to 3D print the part for us to then put on the engine and check everything over, make sure clearances and everything, fitment is perfect, make sure it clears the hood. Here you can see the design where there's 2 ports coming in to the front of the head intake. So we're going to be drawing air from each side of the bumper on the Formula Supra. We think that's the best case scenario with the amount of room that we're going to have in the front, or the lack of room that we're going to have in the front in this case. So everything checks out. I think the design is awesome. We should have plenty of clearance on the hood, but again, that rapid prototype is going to, basically tell us exactly what everything is going to clear or not clear. And we're going to be testing that out soon. So thank you to AEM for stepping up and coming on board. And we're stoked, man. Can't wait. What's up, guys? We just got our CSF radiator cores. These are cross-flow, 14 inches wide and 19 inches tall, and those are both going to be separate for each side of the engine. So these are each going to cool each side of the bank, and those are going to sit at an angle right in here facing forwards so that all the air coming in will pass through, and then the fans on the back will exit through the top of the hood. A lot of the road cars are doing that, and we think it's a phenomenal idea, so we're going to do it too. Want to keep the radiators in the front of the car, unlike the drift cars, because we're not driving sideways at 100 miles an hour towards walls and stuff, so we're not super worried about the crash damage in the front, knock on wood. So everything is going to be put in the front. We also want that massive amount of airflow to help cool this engine. So we're hoping that everything works out. The size is good, and the cores look really nice from CSF here. So big thanks to the guys at CSF for getting these cores to us with the quickness, and we're now going to bring them down to Ferrari Steve down in San Diego, where he is going to make us some custom CNC'd end tanks for these things. It's going to be pretty sick. So we're going to hit up Steve now, head down there, and we'll see what he says. We just got down at OMD down here in San Diego, so Dom and I are going to be showing Steve the CSF radiator cores, and he is going to start designing the end tanks for us. We'll go over kind of what we're looking for. Dom will kind of explain the limitations on size and everything. And here's the CNC. This is where our motor plate got made, and all the brackets and everything that were also made for mounting the Judd in the Supra. And all right, here we go.
A gear.
Okay. Yeah.
I like the gear, but the new Ferrari ones.
The engine room?
Yeah, so this is the Jaguar engine, and we got
those
Ferrari V12,
the 2 rebates.
custom ITVs for it.
I think it'll make some good sounds.
Anyway.
Yeah, we were gonna put it in the car, but that project fell through, so we're hoping to put that in a different car. We're not gonna give too much away on that project. And then I was gonna show you.
We were gonna put it in a Z.
You were gonna put that in a Z?
In a Z.
What?
In a Z with a R154.
What?
Little intercoolers we made
wow,
for
those are
the
neat,
custom
dude.
end tanks.
Cute little mine.
Oh, these are the CNC end
This is what
tanks,
I was
dude.
talking about. You can see
This is a
it.
little-
See, so this actually is
That is dope.
all shaped out, so that goes straight onto the top of the turbo.
That is dope. That's a little insight as to what our end tanks are going to look like on the CSF radiator cores. Those look really cool. Now that we have the radiators dropped off with Steve down at OMD, he's going to dial in the custom billet end tanks for us and get those all dialed in. But we have something way more exciting right now. We just got a shipment in this massive box waiting for us at the airport. I'm stoked on it, and I know you guys are going to be too. All right, here we go, boys. The shipment has arrived. Boom. Big thanks to HGK. See if we can fit that thing in here. Up. Yeah. Alright, that's it. I guess that's how we're doing it. Alright guys, so we just received our second most expensive box, and a lot of you guys already guessed it. I have been alluding to it for quite some time. We are running the HGK Super Kit, which I am super stoked on. Ours is going to have a slightly different twist though. Instead of the carbon Kevlar, we're going to be running a full carbon fiber HGK kit by OCT Composites. Super stoked. Everything looks super sick. We already unwrapped a lot of it to check it out, and now we're going to give you guys the first look at what this stuff looks like on the car. We're going to be placing panels on. Super pumped. Let's see how this stuff looks. So another cool thing is I'm gonna keep showing you guys a lot of the stuff that we're unwrapping right now, but we also got the interior from the HGK kit, as well as the same as Shakov Nikita's car in Russia. Basically all the same exact parts, just ours are in carbon fiber instead of carbon Kevlar. So everything is looking really good. Rear over fenders snapped right on, a nice and snug fit. So I'm hoping that the rest of the kit fits like this, and that we can basically secure everything normally and not have to do too much fitting, cutting, trimming. Basically make some brackets and mounts and fit everything on pretty easy. See how it goes. Freaking stoked, dude. This stuff looks so good. Look at this thing. Carbon door. This thing is super light. You can pick it up, like maybe weighs 5 pounds. They got the Lexan window frame on this too. This is the side skirt, which looks absolutely wild. Look how wide that is. That's what I have to step over to get into the car now. It's the splitter off the front bumper. Kick panel for the pedal box. This is the substructure for the rear. So the rear taillights go right in here. Then the rear bumper is going to connect to that, so that kind of ties the entire tail section together. It's the center console right here. Got a cup holder with a little change tray. I know this for your cell phone right here. We'll probably put the Motec keypad right here. Front bumper. The rear hatch weighs like nothing. They just left the top skin on here just to lay the Lexan on top of. Oh man. Yo. Look at all these pieces. So everything's starting to come together and fit up. Drilled the holes for the rear taillights, but you want to leave the taillights out while you put the rear over fender on, then slide the taillight in. We just noticed that we can't get this area to sit super flush, so there's a little bit of extra material on the edges that we're gonna hog out. Same with this too. You can see it's not sitting perfectly flat, so we're just gonna knock down some of that on the inside so it sits nice and flat, and that should give us a better, that should mount a little bit better down here too. So we gotta do that with both sides, and it should be looking good. Taillights in, baby. Have all these body lines laying down pretty good. Dom just did a little more trimming down here to let that sit in a little bit further. She's looking wide though, boys. She's looking wide. Dom is now onto the side skirt We had to pull another bracket off of the front here, right there, so we can mount this thing up. And Dom is getting to that right now. Dude, look at that. That is freaking massive. What do we gotta trim? More of this? Holy okay. Yeah, when we looked at the HGK stuff, their was all the way into that hole. Like, this is halfway cut off. Yeah, all the way halfway into that. Okay. Alright. Alright. That means she's gonna get a little lighter. A little lighter. More steel. Get out of here. Just doing some trimming. Cutting more metal out of here. Little update, boys. Dom's been cranking. He's got the Clecos set for the rear structure panel. Clecos in here. Side skirts set. Boom. Underneath too. Hood's on. You know we running them stock dampers. We getting there. Shit looking nice. Nice. So we ran into a few tight spots last night. Realized that the rear hatch didn't fit when we had these sandwiched over the rear structure area. So we had to trim off the lip on this side and get these things to spread out a little further, because it was about ½ inch that we needed to gain for the hatch to fit nice and clean inside here. So it actually sits flush now. Everything's looking good. So we've moved on. Working on doors right now. Got some fresh hinges on here. We are gonna have to trim the inside of the door panel to clear the cage. Unfortunately, we're really actually bummed about that, but we at least didn't sacrifice the cage for that. We're also working on the front bumper, but we realized that we should probably get the doors on before we do the hood side panel here and front bumper to all fit together. So the front actually hits too on the inner door side, which sucks. Dom's actually mega bummed because he would have just done these door bars differently so that they worked with the doors, but that's the tough thing when you don't have all the parts at the time that you all need them. Obviously the cage got done a long time ago and it came out dope as shit, but just having to do some extra clearancing on the doors, which definitely kind of sucks. It's pretty much the whole one side on now. Not bolted in, but carbon quarter window. So this is pretty much the only piece that's still going to be remaining factory steel that'll be shown from the outside. All right, tired and over it. Bodywork sucks, but we made a bunch of progress today, and 3/4, maybe a little more, maybe 80% of the body's on the car. That's pretty cool. Doors are getting dialed. Dom just finished up these little brackets which are going to go on the inside of the doors so that they can be easily mounted to the hinges. So you can just put it on here on the inside which will, you know, bolt the door on and off like a normal car. Ease of maintenance if we ever need to take them off. Guys, look at this thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, guys, 90% done with this thing. Obviously, Dom has done the majority of the work in fitment, so it has come out extremely well since he is so meticulously detailed on everything. I put these babies on right here. They were a pain in the ass, but they did come out pretty good. You know, it took a lot of massaging as we got into the corners, like the side panel underneath the hood right here. The hood itself, the door, the side skirt, like all those lines where all that body lines up is really hard to get as really tight and proper like it would be on a factory car. So we spent a lot of time just adjusting and trimming and moving stuff around and lining up as best we could, obviously. So we still have to sink some nut certs and really fix everything on here, normal, because we still have a lot of clecos holding everything on. But we're almost there, man, and it looks really sick. So freaking stoked. Let's get this front bumper on, rear bumper on, get some threaded inserts done, and get this thing on here for real. So Dom's jamming on the front bumper. Still, I'm jamming on the rear. Tag teaming this baby, and this is how you mount the rears. It's basically this pin that goes through, and then this spring that mounts on top with the pin that goes through to keep tension on it, and that actually mounts right up in here. So this is the pin that goes up and through the bumper. Probably gonna anodize this or paint it black or powder coat it black or something, and then I gotta clean this bumper line up so it looks nice and clean. But you can't really see it if you're standing. You know, if you're looking underneath the car, you can see it, but otherwise not really. And then you go to the inside, you can see the pin comes up right here. And then this spring tension is really tough. And that's a long arm's length in there, so I haven't been able to get it on yet, but that's basically how the bumper's gonna get secured. And then I'm gonna just throw some a nut cert or two in here to hold this back end, this part up. And it'll be nice and snug on the back of the taillights. Not too bad of a gap. One right here on the edge. I cut it up and got it as close as I possibly could, but that's about as good as that's gonna get. And the same with this side. This side actually has a little bit more of a gap, but I might be able to cheat. Actually, no, it's not even up yet. So once this snaps around, it'll actually come up and snug up there. So not too shabby. We're getting there. So because of our radiator setup, how it's gonna be laid down in the front a little bit, it's gonna be really wide. We might have to cut into the frame rails here just a little bit to make clearance. This whole section of the front bumper is not gonna work. So we can't use this as a mounting solution. So we got Dom's got a jig going so that we know where the bumper is gonna sit roughly. And we're probably gonna have to trim the majority of this off and figure out a different way to mount this. But, you know, one thing after another. Bumper's on, hatch is laid in. We gotta kind of pick this up. It's kind of a two-man job, so I just kind of laid that in there, make it look complete. But look at her. Look at the back, dude. So what I'd like to do is build, since this kind of swoops in and the wheel's gonna be sticking out pretty far, I'd love to build part of our diffuser or have some sort of canards that come up here and kind of fill this fender gap area to the bumper. I think that'd be pretty cool and something that would be also functional too. That could work with the rest of our rear diffuser situation. So we'll see what we can come up with, see how much time we have too, since we're starting to get down to it. Really need to get this thing done before the FD season starts, and there's still quite a bit to do, but getting closer. Looks like a car now. So the hatch is basically the last thing that we have to do to secure in here, but we want to get the Lexan first to see how high we got to shim this thing up to meet the edge of the side panels or the rear over fenders. Yo, looking dope, dude. Damn, look at that fucking wheel gap. We're going Baja racing. Dash going in, boys. I mean, center console going in, boys. This is center console. Dom's already cut a hole and fitted it. This fits over the top of the transmission tunnel. This butts up against the dashboard. This is where the handbrake will go right here on the side. This is probably where the Motec keypad will go right here. This, I guess, could be for a cell phone or something. Cup holder, put your drink there. And then this pocket we actually have to cut out so the back of this thing lays down on the tunnel properly. Console's in. Dash time now. Yeah, so we didn't realize that this was all extra on here, and this pretty much needs to get cut all the way back to like here. So we might be a little short now on this side since we already made cuts. Dom just welded all these little tabs in to hold the dashboard in place. Dom also had to make a filler piece on the side here because we had to trim so much out, so the dash just slides right underneath there. Looks really clean. Dope clips to just hold the bumper, or sorry, hold the dashboard into place. It's getting there. A lot of time spent on this friggin' dashboard and center console and kick panel for the pedal box. It's all looking dope though. Dom's making end plates to just kind of cap the dash off on each side right now. So it's gonna wrap around the dash bar. Looks sweet, nice and clean. Another piece of Dom spec art added to the mix. Custom filler piece that Dom put on the side of the dash so you can bolt to it. Just 2 bolts right here, boom. 1 right here, boom. So that's all tied together. So now Dom just has that side to do. And we are done with the dash, done with the interior, done with the kick panel. Dash is officially finished, mounted. Boom. Pumped. Next up, rear bumper. You gotta finish mounting a bumper from here to the rear structure panel back here. So Dom's gonna make a plate that goes onto the inside, and we're gonna have a couple not through bolts, but a couple bolts that stick through, or studs, so we can bolt it from the back side. And then we have 2 covers to cover the holes up, and we're just going to glue those on so that we never have to access it from this side, hopefully, and just do it from the back. Do it from the back! Dom made quick work of that. Carbon kick panel time, boys. So this is going to go in here somehow. Another universal piece that needs to be cut a bunch. So we're gonna start with taking out this piece of metal so that it's more of a flat section here. And we'll get a little more weight out of here. right, boys, got this kick panel pretty much sorted, finished, fitment anyways. Came out really nice, I think. Slides right over. Definitely out of talent at this point. Took a lot of my time though. It's been got like friggin' 6 hours into this thing right now, but it's looking good. There's 2 bolt holes up here to secure it to the pedal box, but might have to put a couple of little support areas down below here to really make it rock solid. I did take like a 2-hour break. I was trying to film Dom too, you know? But she in there, baby. Woo! You know why I'm satisfied? Because when I sit in the car, I'm gonna be using that every goddamn time. So I finally get to say that I did something. Although it didn't come out Dom spec, but whatever.